is a special broadcast of The Mike Gallagher Show.
When 14 million Americans are out of work, we need a new president to end the Obama depression.
Mike Gallagher is broadcasting today from Atlanta, Georgia, the home state of Newt Gingrich.
I'm happy to be in the tradition of Ronald Reagan as the outsider who scares the Republican establishment.
Portions of today's Mike Gallagher Show are sponsored by Winning Our Future and is not authorized by any federal candidate or candidates committee. Winning Our Future online at winningourfuture.com is responsible for some of the content in this program. Broadcasting today from Atlanta, here is Mike Gallagher.
I like to say I'm vice president of the Happy to Be Here Club. I'm a lucky guy, and I have had a lifetime of incredible moments. One of those great moments came when I was traveling with the Gingrich campaign, and I got to witness in Florida an endorsement, a surprise endorsement by Herman Cain for Newt Gingrich. Because Herman Cain happens to be one of my favorite individuals on the planet. I admire entrepreneurs. I am impressed and respect people who don't go down the same tired path that the race baiters and the race mongers want us to go down. I have long greatly admired Herman Cain, businessman, entrepreneur, talk show host, columnist, former presidential candidate. Of course, he was the CEO of Godfather's Pizza, but also chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. Not a whole lot of human beings can make a claim like that. Last night, I was up until the wee hours of the morning, finishing and putting the final touches, the final edits on the manuscript for my new book, which will be out, I think, around June. Simon & Schuster, the Threshold imprint, is publishing my book, 50 Things Liberals Love to Hate. Every chapter features something that a liberal hates, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's American flag lapel pins, babies. Believe it. And I'm so proud of this book. But I write very affectionately in my book about Herman Cain and his extraordinary story. Very, very proud to welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show on our Geico guest line as we broadcast from Atlanta today, the one and only Herman Cain. Mr. Cain, sir, great having you back on the program. How are you?
Mike, it is my pleasure, and I want you to know, if you are the vice president of Happy to Be Here, I am the co-vice president of Happy to Be Here.
How about I make you the treasurer? You be the treasurer of the you be the treasurer of the Happy to Be Here Club, because let me tell you something. You know a thing or two about business and economics, so I think you need to definitely be the treasurer. In fact, let's start there if we can, Mr. Cain, because you and I know and appreciate the hard fact that job creation comes from small businesses, not the big ones. Why do you believe that Speaker Gingrich is the guy to tackle this issue?
Because he is the only candidate that started at the right point in putting together his economic growth and jobs plan, which is where I started. He throws out the current tax code. Mm-hmm. The other candidates do not. They tinker around the edges. They rearrange the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. Newt starts by throwing it out like I did with my 999 plan, and he's putting in a much simpler, much flatter tax structure, and that's what businesses are looking for. When they know what the rules are and they feel that the tax structure is fair, they will grow, because, as you know, many of them have the money to grow, but not in this environment with all of the uncertainty that's been created by this administration. Will eliminate that administration.
I've got a lot of listeners who are calling and emailing me and comments on my Facebook fan page saying that Newt right now is the guy who put himself smack dab in the dialogue, the national dialogue, about these insane gas prices and how it's devastating to the average American. Let's talk about energy for a moment. Two things. When energy prices go up the way they have, it really impacts business, especially small businesses. And number two, it affects the working poor. It affects the middle class who struggle. You know, yesterday was $86 for me to fill up my gas tank. Obama doesn't seem to think that matters so much as he marches on with his dopey green initiatives. And maybe more to the point, Newt seems to be the one candidate who is really screaming to the mountaintops about the need to lower these gas prices.
You're absolutely right. He is the only one that's screaming, but he's also saying how he's going to do it. The others aren't even talking about how they're going to do it. The media is trying to avoid the issue. When George Bush was in office, if the price of a gallon of gas went up a penny, it was a front page story. Now we are approaching $4 a gallon, and they're trying to pretend that the subject isn't there. Newt has not only said that we can hit $2.50 a gallon, but he's laid out steps in terms of how we do it. Is it possible? Yes, because he reminds people that it was $1.13 a gallon when he was Speaker of the House, and when Obama took office, it was half of what it is today. It ought to be front and center because not only does it impact families in terms of what it costs and how it moves money from other parts of their budget, but it increases the cost to deliver goods to businesses, so it negatively impacts everything in terms of the economy. The media simply is ignoring it because they know Obama and his administration has failed on that front.
And that's a tough part of this whole process, isn't it, Mr. Cain? The trying to cut through the media narrative, the agenda. I mean, because it's fierce, it's in our face. We're sort of, I keep saying we're on information overload, all these dueling agendas. And you experienced it firsthand. I mean, most of us know, in your case, what was true, what was not. Most of us know who you are, what you're about, what kind of person you are, the success story that you are. And yet, boy, if the media, like a dog with a bone, takes a narrative and shakes it, it's tough for the average American to cut through that.
It is. And I've had a lot of people say to me that they really regret that I dropped out of the race. Mm-hmm. And I have to remind them, it wasn't that I wanted to drop out of the race because of the intensity of campaigning and debating or addressing the issues. No. There are aspects of our media that they were determined to hound me with these false accusations long enough until my family and I couldn't take it anymore. Right. That's what did it. Right. 3 straight weeks. And so I decided, okay, if you all feel this strongly, I'm going to come at you another way. And that is with my solutions revolution that I have started at HermanCain.com. Because the American people want to see solutions. They want to talk about problems being solved. And I wanted the American people to stay focused, especially people voting in the Republican primary, to stay focused on solutions to our problems. This is why I believe Newt is starting to get traction in a lot of places that some people in the media, as well as the Republican establishment, didn't think that he would, and that's because he has taken this whole price of gas issue and put a specific solution on the table. It's resonating with people.
Any doubt in your mind he does well tomorrow here in Georgia?
Oh, no doubt in my mind that he's going to do well in Georgia. I felt it 2 weeks ago when I campaigned with him in Georgia, and you can tell with the enthusiasm and excitement of the people that were coming out to the rallies. We did about 3 rallies together. Right. And in every case, we had to turn people away because the auditorium wasn't big enough. Yeah. Jackie Gingrich Cushman and I, we did some campaigning for Newt Friday night and Saturday in Tennessee, and we just saw a poll this morning that says that Newt is surging in Tennessee. It's not just because of us being there, but it's because Newt has been the only one that has really gotten specific with this whole gasoline, the price of gas message, and he's driving it home. So he's going to do well in Georgia. He may finish a lot higher than people expected in Tennessee. And by the end of the day today, when I leave Oklahoma, I'll be able to give you an assessment for Oklahoma.
Sounds great. Herman Cain is on our guest line talking about Newt Gingrich's candidacy. And, of course, as you know, Mr. Cain has endorsed Newt Gingrich. You have a lot to talk about with him. I want to talk a little bit about the conservatism, the bona fides, that crossroads we're at as Americans. Who best to challenge Barack Obama in November of 2012? Just a few months away. It's not that long away. Feel free to join us, 800-655-MIKE, as we continue our conversation with Herman Cain. We're in Atlanta. Tomorrow, of course, is Super Tuesday, a big day not only here in Georgia, but in a number of other states. And as we often do, we take you to where the stories are being made. It's the Mike Gallagher Show, fighting the good fight. Our conversation with Herman Cain continues live, brought to you in part by Geico. It's easy to save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. More with Herman Cain next on the Mike Gallagher Show.